Hello students, myself Suresh VS. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn a new lesson. The title of the lesson is The Third Level. It's from your textbook, The Vistas. See, the third level, it is written by Jack Finney. He was born on October 2nd, 1911 and died on November 14, 1995. That means he died at the age of 84. So he was a writer from USA. So he is a writer of science fiction and thriller. He is very famous as a writer of science fiction and thriller. So two of his important writings or well-known writings were The Body Snatchers and Time and Again. So let us see what is the theme of the story. The theme of the story is escapism, or we can say that the story interweaves fantasy with a reality. Fantasy with a reality, or we can say the story connects fantasy, imagination with a reality. Or the third level is a story that connects together a psychological journey of the narrator into past, present, and moves towards future. So there is always a natural human tendency for what? Constantly move between past, present, and future. So the protagonist of the story, his name is Charlie. He believes in the existence of a third level. Okay, that is the title of the lesson also. So he believes in the existence of a third level operating in a time frame of 1890s. So the period of 1890s represents a very peaceful life that is not possible in the present era. The present era in the sense that in the era of the writer. So you see that he was born in 1911 and died in 1995. During this period, so many wars happened, or you can see that the First World War, Second World War, and many other wars took place during this period. So this was a period of trouble, struggle, wars, and a lot of worries. Okay, so all this becomes a subject matter of this story. Now let us go through the story. The presence of the New York Central and the New Haven and Hartford railroads will swear on a stack of timetables that there are only two. See, the presidents of all these stations, railway stations, that is New York Central and the New Haven and Hartford railroads. They will swear. They will swear means promise. How? By keeping the hands on a stack of timetables. Stack means pile. On keeping their hands on a pile of timetables, they will promise that there is only two levels. The two levels that can be the platforms. So they very firmly they tell that there are only two levels. But I say there are three. But Charlie says that there are three levels. How can he say that? Because I have been on the third level of the Grand Central Station. He says it because he had been there, where in the Grand Central Station, the third level of a Grand Central Station. So he very firmly says that there exists what? One more level, that is third level. So yes, I have taken the obvious step. I talked to psychiatrist friend of mine among others. You see that he had many friends, and among these friends, one is a psychiatrist. Then psychiatrist, a doctor who treats the mental patients, or a doctor who treats for mental illness. So as a result of when he told to everyone that there exists three levels, third level in a Central Station, Grand Central Station. So the people were not able to believe it. So he talked to a psychiatrist, his friend a psychiatrist about this. So I told him about the third level of the Grand Central Station, and he said it was a walking dream wish fulfillment. So when he heard about this, so he knows that there doesn't exist a third level in a Grand Central Station. So when Charlie told about the existence of such a railway station, what was his answer? Then he said that it was a walking dream. Walking dream then is it's a hallucination. Hallucination means a fantasy, an imagination, or a mental phenomena. Or that means somebody feels the same like to exist. Actually, it is not there, but they think that it exists. So he told that it's a walking dream, wish fulfillment. It's a hallucination, a fantasy, a dream, a daydream, which was not fulfilled, which was not accomplished. So he said I was unhappy. So he said I was unhappy. What is the reason? Why does he see such a imagination? Or why was he in such a hallucination? Because he was unhappy. That was his answer. That made my wife a kind of mad. It should show that if you tell somebody's wife that your husband is unhappy, she will be really sad and mad. The same way Charlie's wife also, when she heard that her husband was unhappy, she became really mad. But he explained that he meant the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry and all the rest of it. But he explained to her that it is not because of any family problems. Because he is worried, he is really in tension, he is troubled after seeing the modern world that is filled with the insecurity. The modern world is of insecurity. You know what is the meaning of insecurity? That means it's dangerous to life. Life is not, modern life is not secure, it's not safe. Okay, that is filled with insecurity, fear, war, worry, and all different things. Okay, so this is the cause for his unhappiness. He explained to his wife. Everybody, and you see that at that age, just want to escape. He also told this thing. He wanted to escape from all these things. He wanted to escape from the modern, realities of life. That means escape the hard realities of modern life. That is why then he started seeing such an imagination. That was the explanation given by the doctor. Well, who does it? So Charlie asked, who does it? That means everyone wants to escape from these harsh realities of life and wants to escape, but they don't wander down into any third level at the Grand Central Station. But he says that all want to escape from these hard realities of life, but they have to wander where into any third level, at the Grand Central Station. But that is the reason, he said, and my friends all agreed. But psychiatrist, he was fixed in his opinion. He said that that was the reason. He was unhappy and he wanted to escape from, the harsh realities of modern life. And all the friends of Charlie accepted this opinion. Everything points to it, and all his behavior that pointed out to that only. Okay, they claimed. So my stamp collecting, for example. So Charlie says that he had the habit of collecting stamps. So his stamp collection, that is a temporary refuge from reality. Refuge means shelter. So this was a temporary refuge from reality. That means that was a means to escape from the reality. So he has used it as a shelter, okay, or a means to escape from the reality. Well, maybe that may be right. But what about my grandmother? He did not need any refuge from reality. He did not want to escape from the reality. He did not want to get a shelter to escape from reality. Why? Because things were pretty nice and peaceful. Okay, in his day, from all I hear, and he started my collection. And you see that because during his time, there was no insecurity. That time, that was the 1890s, that was a period of peace. Okay, and there was no need to, there was no troubles, or there were no wars. So life was really peaceful. So he did not want to escape from such a reality. Okay, then why did he do the stamp collection? That was his question. It's a nice collection too. And another thing, that grandmother had a very nice collection. That means he had a marvelous collection of stamps and blocks of 4 of practically every US issue, first day covers, and so on. And he had all the US issues that were the first day covers. About these first day covers we will learn in the later part of the lesson. and he had all these first day covers and almost 4 blocks of practically US issued stamps were there in his collection. And not only his grandfather, President Roosevelt, American President Roosevelt also collected stamps, okay, you know. So he is trying to justify himself that he was not in any kind of imagination. Anyway, here is what happened at Grand Central. But anyway, Charlie explains what happened with him in the Grand Central. One night last summer, I walked later to the office. I was in a hurry to get uptown to my apartment, so I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it's faster than the bus. So one day you see that one night he became late after his work. So while going back, he decided to go by train rather than the bus because he thought that he would reach earlier or faster than the bus. I was in a hurry. So he was in a hurry to get uptown. Uptown, that's a part of our city away from the central part of the city. So there his apartment was, his residence was there. So he desired to take the subway that is can be the underground or a metro or train because it was faster than the bus. Now I don't know why this should have happened to me. Charlie says, I don't know why it happened to me. He can't understand it. I am just an ordinary guy named Charlie, 31 years. He introduced himself here. So I am an ordinary guy, an ordinary man with 31 years old, and his name is Charlie. He introduced himself. And I was wearing a tan gabardine shirt, suit, and a straw hat. And he was wearing what? A tan. Tan means yellowish brown color is known as a tan. And yellowish color gabardine. Gabardine, that is a long loose upper garment, as you can see in the picture also. So he was wearing an upper garment, loose and long upper garment, and a straw hat. And you see that the straw hat which had a fancy band. Fancy band means a fancy, very colorful and attractive strap around the hat. I passed a dozen men who looked just like me. He passed about a dozen men, about 12 people there. All of them looked like Charlie only. Okay, that means he is moving through the present now. You can see that. And I was not trying to escape from anything. So he says that he was not trying to escape from anything. He just wanted to get home to Louisa, his wife. He just wanted to reach at home, nearby his wife. The name of his wife is Louisa. I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down the steps to the first level. So what did he do? He turned from then Vanderbilt Avenue to the Grand Central, and from there he descended the steps to the first level. So he is moving to, yes, the first level. And where you take trains like the 20th century, there you can get to the trains which look like the trains of 20th century. Okay, in the first level, he was able to see the trains which were available in the 20th century. Then I walked down another step to the second level, and from there he stepped down to the second level, and where the suburban trains leave from. So the suburban trains leave from the second level. Okay, so the trains which are going to the end part of the city. Okay, and he reached the second level, ducked into an arched doorway. From there he ducked means bent down, slightly he bent down into an arch, then a bent, or we can say that or arch-shaped doorway. And through an arch-shaped doorway, he had to bend a little bit to move forward. And heading for the subway, there he tried to go towards the subway and got lost. But what happened to him? He got lost there. That means he missed his way there. Or we can say he did not know where to go from there. And that is easy to do. So he says that it was not an unfamiliar matter. So almost many times it happened with him. Why? I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times. There is a case that if you go to bigger railway stations, we could not find out the way in and out. Okay, so even we will not be able to find out some platforms and all. We will face difficulty. So he says that in hundred of times he faced this difficulty. Many times he was in and out. He could not know where to go. And but I am always bumping into new doorways and stairs and corridors. So whenever he went there, he faced this problem. He met with that is bumping. He was actually meeting with the new doorways and the stairs and corridors. There were new stairs, there were new corridors as well as the doorways. Once I got into tunnel about a mile, he tells about one of his experience. Once he got inside a tunnel, and which through that he walked miles, and afterwards where did he reach? And came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. After walking through that long tunnel, he reached in front of Roosevelt Hotel. Lobby means the entrance room of the Roosevelt Hotel. And another time I came up in an office building. So another time after moving through a tunnel, he reached in an office building where it was on 46th Street, 3 blocks away. So he reached in 46th Street, which was 3 blocks away. So Charlie says that sometimes I think Grand Central is growing. So I felt many times, sometimes I felt that Grand Central is growing, is expanding like a tree. So like a tree, you see that with the branches, roots and all, you see that more branches and more roots than a tree, how does it develop? And such a way, the Grand Central was also developing, or we can say expanding, with the no corridors and staircases like the roots of the trees. There is probably a long tunnel. So he thinks that there is a possibility, probably, that means there is a possibility for a secret tunnel, a long tunnel, where it is going under the city. So he feels that there is a possibility of a secret tunnel under the city, and where it is leading to, then a long tunnel that nobody knows. That's the secret tunnel. About feeling its way, then it's proceeded its way under the city right now on its way to Times Square. It may be going to Times Square, and maybe another tunnel will be there going to Central Park. That means he imagines that there are tunnels which are passing under his feet. Okay, one is going to the Times Square and another is going to the Central Park. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been an axis. Because he feels this way because Grand Central, that was the axis for so many people for so many years. Or we can say this is a place of access for so many people for so many years, a way of escape. This is a place for escape. That means then in order to escape from the reality, the people select this Grand Central. Okay, he felt so. Or we can say he feels this Central Station is a kind of escape for so many people and like him. And maybe that is how the tunnel I got into. So he feels that he got into a tunnel as if he was trying to escape from reality. So he got into a tunnel as if he wanted to escape from, or he was trying to escape from reality. But I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. But never I told to my psychiatrist friend about this. He did not reveal it to his friend psychiatrist. Dear students, we will come with or we learn the next part of the story in coming videos. Please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thank you.